Power Up Boxing here, and I just watched the Gabriel Rosado versus David Lemieux fight in the middleweight division. And it was a great fight, like I expected. Stylistically, I knew this was going to be a good fight to watch. And my prediction was if Gabriel Rosado could get past the sixth, seventh, if he could get past the seventh round, he would probably win by decision. That was my prediction. But if he didn't get past the seventh round, he would get knocked out. And I thought he was gonna. If he was gonna lose, I thought he would get knocked out early or earlier than the seventh round. But you know what? So my prediction was wrong. I really did think Gabriel Rosado's experiences would be enough to overcome the power of Lemieux, because Lemieux had a tendency to kind of fade and gas, because he just throws everything in it. He throws all his energy into every punch, and I gotta say, David Lemieux definitely worked on his stamina, like he said, and he definitely improved his stamina for this fight. And he said it in training camp. He did change up a few things, and you could see it. He still took some rounds off later in the fight to get, like, he would take some rounds off, like he was doing it to regain his energy, and then when the next round came, then he would pour it on again with his power shots. But so at least he didn't fade like the other fights where he just, like, it wasn't a permanent thing. But he still needs to work on, he still needs to work on his stamina, David Lemieux. But it's definitely improving, and you could see it. The fight lasted 10 rounds. Lemieux finally stopped Gabriel Rosado in the 10th round. The referee stopped the fight. It was actually the doctor stopped the fight, but it actually wasn't the doctor. It was the chief doctor of the New York Athletic Commission actually stopped it, or something like that. It was the chief doctor, but but yeah, they kept on looking at Gabriel Rosado's eye throughout the later half of the fight. They just kept on looking. They looked at it like 3 times before they actually stopped the fight. The knockdown, one of the knockdowns, I forget when it was. I think he knocked him out in the second round, but I think it was the second round. But after that, Gabriel Rosado's, you could see he took a while to get up from that knockdown, and his eye, it really messed up his eye, and his eye was just, it was kind of like, you could say it was kind of like what happened to Algieri. He couldn't see from that eye, like what happened to Algieri in the Ruslan fight. Gabriel Rosado's eye just swelled up like a lot, and it was just what do you call it? It was he couldn't really see from that eye, and after that, it was just what do you call it? The doctors kept on looking at it, tell him to. They would hold up fingers to Gabriel Rosado and tell him how many fingers he was holding. To Gabriel Rosado, he would ask him, Rosado, how many fingers he was holding. So Rosado got it right every time, but it was eventually, it was, what do you call it? It was just a matter of time, because Gabriel Rosado was taking so much punishment and he wasn't answering. And it could be that that eye just was so bad that he really couldn't mount any sort of offense, and he was just worrying about surviving pretty well. But yes, so pretty much Rosado was just on the back foot most of the night, pedaling backwards and just getting beat up. And it was just, like I said, it was a matter of time. He was taking a lot of punishment, and sure, he maybe would have made it to the 12th round, but really, he would no more damage needed to be taken, really. And what do you call it? Rosado's still, though, he's a warrior. Earlier in the fight, when he was getting hurt, he actually, one of the rounds, he was like saying, come on, come on. And he started mounting on a good offense, but it was short-lived, and really Rosado just couldn't get his footing really and get comfortable, and just what do you call it? He couldn't mount any offense pretty well, and that definitely that eye did affect him big time. He even said at the end of the fight he saw like 3 of them, and just it was just too much. So the Lemieux assault power, the power of Lemieux and the offensive assault by Lemieux is just too much. All I gotta say is David Lemieux is a very good fighter. I watched some tape before I made my prediction, and I still went with Rosado, but I did see potential in Lemieux. And like I said, I did think he had a chance of knocking out Rosado, and he did get it done. But I thought if Lemieux wasn't going to get it done early, that he was going to lose a decision because Rosado's experience and Lemieux had a tendency to gas out because he just throws everything into every shot. And when you fight like that, you're going to gas out. Just like Mike Tyson. I got to say, David Lemieux reminds me the most of Mike Tyson. Just the way he throws his punches, the force he throws every shot with. His left hooks look like Mike Tyson's hooks, deadly hooks. And the footwork of David Lemieux looks so much like Mike Tyson's footwork. Like, I gotta say, he looks a lot like Mike Tyson. Just the way he throws his punches, the way he comes forward, and his footwork look a lot like Mike Tyson. So, and that's a good thing. But then again, he has to work on the disadvantage that both Mike Tyson and he has as well, his stamina. But I think if he can work on that, he can become more of a complete fighter. And if you do look at his loss to Rubio, he was winning that fight. He got gassed out a bit. Rubio, it shows you that Rubio is a tough Mexican. And it actually just shows you, though, that Rubio could take a punch. But the fact that he got knocked out in 2 rounds by Golovkin shows a lot about Golovkin, too. But, what do you call it? So David Lemieux wins by TKO the 10th round, beats Rosado. David Lemieux goes to 33 wins with 31 knockouts, 88% knockout percentage, almost 89% now probably. And would I want to see him? Hold on one sec, guys. Would I want to see him fight? Would I want to see David Lemieux fight Gennady Golovkin? Yes, I would. I think, obviously, Gennady Golovkin, I think he's better than David Lemieux, and I think he would win that fight, and I think Gennady Golovkin would win that fight by knockout. But the reason why I'd like to see that fight is David Lemieux's a good fighter, and he showed that he is working on his stamina, and it was an impressive performance by him tonight. But not only that, it's just stylistically, Lemieux goes in, like I said, his knockout percentage says it all. And the guy's got tremendous power. Every time he throws a punch, it's just a thudding punch. And stylistically, 2 knockout artists, Gennady Golovkin, 90% knockout percentage versus pretty much almost 90% knockout artist percentage in David Lemieux. So stylistically, we're just going to see a fight that probably doesn't go past, it won't go past 6 rounds, that's for sure. But the fight's going to end early because both guys are going to try to knock each other out. And Gennady Golovkin is the more patient approach, while David Lemieux is the more rush in and just wants to take your head off right away approach. But definitely, I'd like to see that. In the post-fight interview with Max Kellerman, David Lemieux says he's not afraid of anyone. He'll fight anyone at 160, and he said it. I'm not afraid of Gennady Golovkin. I will fight anyone in 160. So down the line, if David Lemieux keeps on winning, or say if it even happened next, I wouldn't mind that. But I'm thinking after Gennady Golovkin versus Martin Murray, when that fight happens, whoever wins that, if Gennady Golovkin gets past Martin Murray, which he should, then I think Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo versus Cotto winner, if that fight happens too, then I'd like to see that first. But if that fight never gets made, if a Golovkin versus Canelo or Cotto can't be made right after the Murray fight, then Golovkin versus a Lemieux would be a good fight down the line. And because I think definitely Lemieux has improved, and he's young, he's still learning, and the guy's got tremendous power. And then Gennady Golovkin, he's the best at 160. Like I said, Gennady Golovkin would beat Lemieux and would knock him out probably early. But the fight, while it lasted, would be a great fight. And Lemieux definitely has a strong puncher's chance, though, because the guy hits hard. But, yeah, so Lemieux drops Rosado, messes up his face, bloodies his face, shuts his eye pretty much, takes a lot of punishment. Rosado had some moments of some good moments, but they were short-lived, and he just couldn't mount an offense because his eye was shut in. He just the pressure and the power of Lemieux just was too much, and he kept on coming, and Lemieux finally got the stoppage, and yeah, so it was a great fight. And the other fights of the night too. Where was the other fights now? I kind of forget their names, but anyway. Oh yeah, I know Hank Lundy and that other guy. What's his name? It was kind of boring, but what do you call it? I'm trying to remember now. Actually, no, that fight was exciting at the start, I remember, but then it started getting more boring as the fight went on, I think. I'm trying to remember the fight. I kind of forget. It was a couple hours ago, so I kind of forget. But or was it that fight wasn't boring, or was it the fight? I'm getting mixed up right now. But anyway, pretty much it was a good night of boxing. The fight with the very tall guy, the 6'1" guy at 160. That guy's pretty tall for that weight class. He knocked down the guy with a jab, and then he knocked him out with a overhand left, like a Sergio Martinez overhand left. That was a great punch. I thought the ref did stop it a little too early, though. He waved it off right when the guy hit the canvas, and even though I do think the guy could have got up, or maybe could have got up if he at least started counting, who knows, but he was definitely very hurt from that shot. That overhand left was a perfect Sergio Martinez versus Paul Williams 2 overhand left. But that guy's got good jab, definitely. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Rosado versus Lemieux fight was a great fight. Not only because both guys are warriors and come to fight, but there was no holding at all. When they got close, they would either punch or block up high. They wouldn't hold. So that's why I loved this fight. It was an all action-packed fight, a great fight to watch. And especially when Rosado started coming on in that one round when he was hurt, but he's still the warrior he is. He said he started firing back. That was a great round. So David Lemieux looks like the French Mike Tyson. And the French-Canadian Mike Tyson. And except he doesn't hold, that's a good thing. And Gabriel Rosado, still a warrior, tried his best, but it just wasn't his night. That's his 9th loss out of 21 wins now. That is a lot of losses, but he's still going to be relevant. He has the middleweight belt in the BKB, and I'm sure he still will be on HBO or Showtime for a fight. He is taking a lot of losses, but he's still staying relevant with his performances. But too bad the fight didn't continue with him and Quillen, because in my opinion, he would have won that fight, and that would have put him hugely on the map. But anyway, he's had bad luck. The guy did start late in boxing, and for where he's come from, in his because he doesn't have a boxing background really. I remember he did start pretty late. He started in his 20s, so from his learning curve from that age, it's you got to give respect to Gabriel Rosado, and he was humble in defeat, gave respect to David Lemieux. So David Lemieux and good performance by him. Hope to see him in the future. I'm very excited to see him in the future. Gabriel Rosado, I'm excited to see him in the future too. He always comes to fight, so. But definitely a very good performance by David Lemieux, and I really want to see him in more fights and to see if he can improve even more, because he's young too. He's like 26, so he still can get better. So we'll see if he can one day become a top fighter. And thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this fight. And yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like my videos. And it was a good night of boxing. See you next time.